10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack, today is October 9th, and we're going to get started here with this post from Langers saying, hey everyone, as mentioned in previous announcement, please find the latest governance votes up for voting, and there's a link at vote.rocketpool.net. It says the votes will determine eligible voters for future pre-DAO governance votes. These are two votes, both exactly the same, but except the eligibility strategy used. So cast your vote on both of the raised votes. The vote will run for 2 weeks, and it says Rocket Pool. So let's have a look. This is just one of the votes that I have open here. It's determining voting criteria RPIP 4. Eligible voters nodes with Rocket Pool are less than 10% of borrowed ETH. So it says this vote will determine eligible voters for future pre-DAO governance votes. There are two concurrent votes that determine voting criteria. So the first one is determine voting criteria, eligible voters all nodes, and determine voting criteria, eligible voters nodes with Rocket Pool more than 10% of borrowed ETH. So it says the two votes are identical except the different strategies were used to determine voter eligibility, voting power was calculated the same way, etc. So the reason why there's two votes happening right now is what we are doing is choosing who can vote in future governance votes that will take place. And the two different ideas are while one of the systems will only let people from 10% to 150% of RPL collateral vote, and the other one will be anyone from 0% all the way through to 150% of RPL collateral will be eligible to vote. So with those two things in mind, this has brought up issues, right, about how to do that. Like normal votings would only be like 10 to 150%, but now we are literally voting on whether or not people from 0 to 10% will be able to vote also. So we've done it as two votes this time, where one vote is everyone 0 to 150%, and the second one is only from 10 to 150% to see how things are going. So context around the situation. So the RPIP 4 defines who gets to vote, but this is currently interpreted by people in multiple ways, including that it's meant to be effective stake, so 10% to 150%, that effective stake as defined in the RPIP using a function at the time, fixed the bugged function and vote weight was inappropriate without PDAO input, or it's ambiguous. So there was like basically a bug with one of the contract upgrades. I think it was in Redstone, and which allowed people who are under 10%, under 10% to vote. And then that got fixed in Atlas. But the comment here is, that was inappropriate without PDAO input going into that. So now the vote is that there's two concurrent votes, and they have to have matching results, and the RPIP editors are instructed to clarify RPIP 4 and RPIP 8 per those results. So there'll be changes made to those two RPIPs because of this. And then it goes on to say if the votes do not match or quorum fails on either vote, no action is taken. Other votes will remain blocked until a future successful attempt to determine the voting body. So basically it'll mean we go back to the drawing board, and then this issue has to be fixed before we can make other votes happening. Now, quorum not being reached I don't think is an issue, because quorums can get reached very quickly. The quorum thresholds are quite low, but the way there might be an issue is if there's not consensus between the two different votes, but we'll talk about that later as well. But here it says, from further context, you can read the forum conversations, you can find the polls, you can see lots of the discussion that's taking place. So now what's going on over here? Let me actually go back a step before I come back forward a step. So what happened yesterday was that there was a mistake. Langers here a little while later, like half an hour later, said that was a false start on the governance vote. So we're going to remove the current votes and replace them shortly. And then what happened is that they forgot that the all node strategy should have a different quorum, but once we calculated the new quorum, we'll repost the votes. Apologies to all you voters, please stand by. So if you voted already, then you can't vote again. Sorry, you'll have to vote again because that vote is going to be removed. So now if you go to the vote.rocketpool page, there is nothing there. Those votes have been removed, but because I had this open from before, we can kind of like peek around what's there and what's not there. So one of the things that you should have a look at here is, some of the votes already came in. I voted already, and I have one of the biggest voting allocations in the protocol, and I gave my reasoning such as I said that I vote for only 10% to 150% to be counted going forwards, and I said the reasons for this is this was always the voting intention. I said this stays in line with the rewards, effective RPL rewards, and I said that voting power under 10% is imbalanced because of the square root function. And then Joe as well voted to keep it from 10% to 150%, but Joe is also one of the biggest voting delegatees, so he said that this was just a bug fix and it was just a matter of fixing the bug. Patches had some really good comments around discussion around this, but you can go to the forum and read those. They were really standout comments. Like it really gave me a lot to think about over the last few days. After going in with my initial ideas and reading a lot of all of the discussion, but Patches' comments especially I think was really powerful. But then I made my decision after thinking about it quite a lot. So this vote that you're seeing on screen right now, it was 10% to 150% was winning by 91%. And then all nodes that's 0 to 150% had around 8% of the vote. But this was just because Joe and I voted early, and we're two really big delegates, and that's why it looks like it was such a big early lead. But I don't think you can really read into that because other people who've got decent sized votes delegated to them would probably vote differently. So don't read into that early thing. However, the one thing you can read into is that quorum will definitely be hit on both these votes. But this is going to be a really big deal in the coming days, so please educate yourself on the different issues and then get involved on that. But let's move on from there to talking about this post that Vitalik put out called Protocol and Staking Changes That Could Improve Decentralization and Reduce Consensus Overhead. So this was kind of like a follow-on from the post that he had about enshrining LSTs last week. And he says the Ethereum status quo can be described as including a large share of emergent two-tiered staking. By two-tiered staking, I mean here that staking model where there are two classes of participants, node operators and delegators. He says the emergent two-tiered staking arises through the action of large stakeholders who participate in staking pools which offer liquid staking tokens, e.g. Rocket Pool and Lido. So in this, he talked about a couple of different scenarios and how delegation works and how it all comes together and what it kind of looks like. And one of the things that really caught people's attention in the Rocket Pool community was this example where Vitalik talks about what it would be like if 100% of the stake was rETH. And of course, people thought that was quite funny, but there was a lot of discussion that kind of went into this post as well. I'll let you read the whole post yourselves, but here, the Supersophists says, why is there so little discussion of Vitalik's post? And Valdov said, because people are still waking up. It was 8 o'clock Eastern time. He's already talked about most of it. And Eurochat is dead, but here we got some comments here, and Jasper said he'll get a thread out, but Spoopole here had a comment saying, I had a quote from Vitalik out here. He says, we could improve on the third issue by creating a central issuing contract for LSTs, somewhat similar to ERC 4337 and ERC 6900 for wallets, such that we can guarantee that any staking token issued through that contract is safe. How would something like this look? I'm not sure if I understand it correctly. So, here Jasper says Vitalik is suggesting restaking ETH. Essentially, I'm a fan. And then there was like other stuff happening in the news where that kind of distracted members of trading, but Fizz came, he said, just quoted this on Twitter and cut out everything else. 100% win. So this is the quote, the main quote about Rocket Pool. So Vitalik said, to see why the question is meaningful, let us consider the following world. The protocol change proposed in this recent post of limiting slashing penalties to 2 ETH is implemented. Rocket Pool reduces the node operator deposit to 2 ETH in response. The market share of Rocket Pool increases to 100%, not just among stakers but also among ETH holders. As rETH becomes risk-free, almost all ETH holders become rETH holders or node operators. So that was like a really nice little example. People talking about Vitalik gigabrain numbers that he's got in there, and how people gloss over the math, but there was like some good discussion here. Of course, Vitalik wasn't meaning that all ETH should be rETH. He was just using that as an example of how you can structure certain things. But definitely, like, give the post a read and come into trading and like read the comments that I've linked in the description, and you can get a good idea of what people are thinking and what's going on there. Okay, next we had this post from Kane overnight, which was linked to GitHub, and it here it's says that draft RPIP I'm working on for onchain PDAO. So of course, with the new system of communicating with between the team and the PDAO, like the community, updates and stuff have to go through like the PDAO process, which means like putting them through an RPIP. So here we get this RPIP from Kane, who of course is trying to replace the current execution process in the PDAO governance system with the trustless on-chain version. So here, like the RPIP draft for that is being put together now. So it says the RPIP specifies an on-chain replacement for the PDAO governance system's execution process. It uses optimistic fraud-proof a system that allows any node operator to raise proposals and vote on proposals to adjust PDAO protocol parameters and spend treasury funds. So this is now like the draft of the RPIP for that. This is what we'll probably be going to vote once we get the vote that I talked about at the beginning of the episode cleared and sorted out. These are the kind of things that we really want to be working on going forwards. And this one particularly will really add a big chunk of like decentralization to Rocket Pool, which is absolutely wonderful. So I'm really happy about this. There's a lot of detail in here about what it's going to look like. Of course, this is a draft, so there might still be some minor changes, but you can have a look at it and get a good idea of what the whole information is going to look like. So yeah, it's quite a long post, but it's quite valuable in terms of information that we'll get from there. So that's really cool, Kane. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, next we had the completion of the round 5 of the GMC's grants, calls for applications. So that deadline finished on October 7th. So we had a whole bunch of grants, retroactive awards, and like submitted and for people's consideration. So you can go ahead to this thread and kind of read through all the different ones. Here we have a Discord bot that gives LLM information about documents and stuff, and they're asking for $8,000. We have FX blocks, and these guys are mobile app interface for smart node setup and operation, and how they're doing that. And these guys are asking for, let me see, $50,000. And then we have inverter network. And they are asking, what they're trying to do is yield staking contract with a widget with user-friendly UI that enables projects to offer ETH staking on their sovereign website application layer. So they like integrations for websites that can just offer rETH integrations. It makes it easier for them to do that, I guess. And then they are asking for, let me see. I couldn't see that. What's purchase criteria, payment, how will No, I don't know how much they're asking for. Like, I'll have to dig a little bit deeper there. But yeah, there's a bunch of projects that are asking for chunks of money. So if you're curious all about who's asking for what, then definitely check out this thread and see what work is being proposed and what you think about that work. Like, we really value the PDAO community's input in these different projects and what you all think, whether they're good or bad or everything like that. And we really value that. So as this grant cycle has closed, then another grant cycle has opened. As you know, like, that's how it works now. It's rolling grants. So the new period 7 will close on November 11th. So yeah, grants are up and you can start applying. No one's applied for that round yet, but for round 5 we had retrospective awards, bounty applications, and calls for actual grants. So definitely go and check those out if you're curious about who's asking for what and what work they're planning on doing. Okay, next I want to talk about the RPL price for a quick minute. So here we got this bot that showed that the price was under $20, and that was a big zone of resistance that kind of broke yesterday morning Eastern time, but during the day it kind of rallied and stayed above that $20 point, so much so that it held up that resistance point pretty well. However, overnight that broke, and now RPL is down to let me just refresh this page to make sure, but $19.82. As you can see from the chart, this is down bad. Like, it's just like, this is the daily chart. So as you can see over here, like, this is going back to June. We've just kind of been like down only since then, and we've lost 50% of our value. Basically, RPL tokens value has gone down since then. So I'm not making any predictions of what the price is going to do or not do in the coming weeks and months, but we're going to be talking about that a little bit coming up. But yeah, this was a big zone of resistance that broke, so I thought I would cover it all for you. Okay, next we have this post, a couple of talks about new rETH integrations. This one is from Jasper. He's saying that introducing ITOs, which is initial time offering, which is kind of like an ICO, which was initial coin offering. So those of you who are around in 2016, 2017 especially, there was a whole lot of projects that were built on Ethereum at that time with the promise of a project to come. And what they would do, they would say, we're going to sell some tokens in advance, and selling those tokens will help us fund our project. And what you would do is you would give them your ETH, and then they would give you tokens, and that whole point of the market really led to ETH going on a huge bull run that lasted, that was astronomical, really. So those really went out of favor because they're pretty much securities, and people were really like the US government and other governments were not happy about that happening. So now we have this new form of coin distribution, which is called an ITO, initial time offering. So Jasper explains, he says, instead of paying with capital in the ICO, you pay with time. So Epoch Islands let you deposit capital and earn the Epoch token and exit your initial funds at any point. So there's no risk from the token. From the token launch, you just lose time, and with rETH you're still earning if you exit, and of course there's smart contract risk as well. So Jasper says this is a brand new protocol, so be warned of smart contract risks, but I love the idea. So let me just talk about this idea for a quick second, right? Like, I'm not endorsing Epoch. I've never had any contact with anyone from Epoch. I don't know anything about Epoch. So that is definitely something that, you should be aware of it to begin with. But this idea of an ITO, I think, sounds really good. And the reason for that is because you're kind of getting benefits of both sides, as long as, the rETH deposit vault is safe and the smart contract risk is safe. You can never say with surety, right? But like, if you deposit your rETH, it's just sat there, you're not doing anything, and you're earning these tokens in return. You just need like 1 or 2 of those tokens to do well, and yeah, it works really nicely. So Epoch Island are trying to build the on-chain Silicon Valley, so take that however you want. I think Zachary here works with Epoch, and he says yield plus upside, what's not to love. I appreciate this share, Jasper. So I think the way it works is like they're saying that Silicon Valley it's physical, equity based, VC owned, and Web 2, but what they want to do is with Epoch Island they want it to be digital, token based, community owned, and Web 3. So here $1 attendee says, I would be dubious of the exit for your initial funds at any point claim. This was also said at the preceding flash stake, and as somebody who has fund locked up in flash stake, that would be impossible to withdraw even if I wanted to. It clearly wasn't true. And Zachary says, AO attendees, I know you're familiar with this by now, but the documentation for the flash stakes always clearly outlined how you remove your principal, unburn your yield tokens. The ability to withdraw your principal without returning your yield would obviously break economic, or there's actually like a longer post here, would break the economics of any protocol. I do agree with your sentiment. However, some people didn't understand this mechanism, and we should do a better job of clearly outlining this in multiple areas. To state more clearly, for the ITO, you can return your epoch during your predefined ITO duration to remove all your ETH. No fees, no penalty, no F tokens, etc. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any more questions. So it seems like it's the same people who were involved in flash stake that we talked about a while ago and kind of had some issues around it, are doing this as well. So please be aware and do your own research. Just on the very surface of it, it seemed like a really interesting idea to me, which is why I'm sharing it with you all. And of course, it's another rETH integration. Talking about rETH integrations, here we have this post from MadeStyle saying that there is a new bunny pool that is opening with Rocket Pool, incentivizing a bunny pool. So there's going to be a POAP for people who set up positions in that pool, and you can it says that this POAP commemorates the inaugural launch of the rETH, wETH, wrapped ETH pool and bunny, exclusively awarded to attract participants to the Rocket Pool trading channel and the timeless Discord on October 9th, 2023. It serves as a token of recognition and appreciation for their engagement. And then you can see that the pool here has $25,000 locked up already, and the VAPR, I'm not sure what VAPR is, but is at 80%. So the rewards look decent, and then the yield is going up next epoch. So current is 12% to 62%, and then it's going up to 21% to 105%. So they have different layers of how you do that, which I'm going to be covering on an episode of Takeoff into DeFi soon, where I'll be talking to MadeStyle in that episode. And then this is the art for the POAP, where you can see like there's a bunny astronaut like in the orange Rocket Pool astronaut suit. So if you are interested in that, reach out to MadeStyle, and he'll be able to give you info on what is happening with that bunny pool and how you can like do stuff with that position to boost your pools and earnings. So yeah, definitely look out for that. Okay, talking about DeFi integrations, here we have a post from Ethereum Staking Guide. So this was Kent, who's working with the staking information, with the DeFi information, and he is putting out this bi-weekly update of the different rewards that are available for the work that you do, and making a video about it as well. So it says this the report doesn't provide any investment advice, but you can go through this and look at the different kinds of rewards that are available, and what is happening out there right now, and all the different kinds of ways that you can earn yield on your rETH. And along with the article, he also puts out a video which kind of like explains the different strategies that are available and what they're doing, and how what the reward rates are, etc. So that's a new channel that Ken is now doing that through, called Ethereum Staking Guide. So check that out and give that a subscribe if you are curious about these updates that come out every 2 weeks. So yeah, thanks for that, Kent. Okay, next we had this tweet from Maverick who says, is this real? Or so let's have a look at the tweet. Here Scam Sniffer says that someone lost 300 rETH, which is $534,000 at the time, to crypto phishing 30 minutes ago. Then there's a screenshot of the Etherscan, and you can see that, you know, there was some rETH taken from a wallet and going to a phishing wallet, which is always extremely sad to see. And then you can see that here there was a whole bunch of rETH burned for ETH to get ETH back. So the person who phished the rETH then dumped it and got ETH back on the market. So that's always really sad to see that, you know, something so horrible like that is happening to people. But yeah, like Jasper replied by saying it looks like it, a bunch of rETH just got burned. And then Sneaky kind of made a joke saying, why do rETH scammers always immediately burn the rETH? Do they not want liquid staking rewards, or are they just trying to move the funds off chain ASAP? And then, well, it was just a question, I guess, not a joke. And Patches says typically they get sold on KuCoin quick like. So KuCoin, I guess, is an exchange that lets you do non-KYC'd transactions and withdrawals and deposits and withdrawals. So what will happen is that people send the swap to rETH, send it to KuCoin, and then from KuCoin it becomes kind of like a black hole where crypto goes in and you don't know what crypto is going out on the back end. So that way people can move it and kind of like legitimize they can like launder their ill-gotten gains, which is really horrible to see. But yeah, please stay diligent. Please never ever interact with any hot wallet that you have, with the cold wallet that you have. Any substantial amount of crypto should be stored on a cold wallet that you only ever transact into. Ideally, you don't even transact out of unless you really need to. Don't interact with any contracts on there. Don't do any kind of activities on there. It should just be a cold wallet where you just store things for the long term. Until, you know, you want to sell or anything like that, then you can just move it to a warmer wallet, not necessarily even a hot wallet. Like, it can still be through a ledger or a device like that. Please be careful, because too many people have had way too much money stolen, and it's really horrible. Okay, so we just covered that. Okay, next we have talk of a new POAP which Schifrin set up. So he posited the question to the Rocket Pool community saying, are you bullish or bearish on RPL? Choose your side within this thread and receive a POAP. So there was a thread. He says, I'm a bull, let's go. So this is a bull versus bear POAP that you can get, and RPL was at $20. So he says, which side are you on? So that's a really nice looking POAP that like Schifrin worked on. It's absolutely beautiful. So people started saying, you know, I'm a bull, I'm a bear. Patches says that he's a crab, which just means like sideways market within the range. Objective says short-term crab, long-term bull. Burns says bull. Blue AVM says bull. A lot of people were saying bull, and like FinBob says bull at this level. A lot of people were just like kind of commenting back and forth about being a bull or a bear. A lot of people are saying, you know, either short-term bear or crab, and then long-term bull. Dondo, which is with a nice AI generated photo here of a bear with bull's horns. So yeah, a lot of people bull. The post that I really want to highlight to you all was this one from Pateris, who kind of painted out the bear case. So he says that he's a bear, and he says that this is the reason why he's a bear. He says 0% interest rates days are over. Retail doesn't care about crypto anymore. If retail doesn't care, institutions won't care. ETH futures had pathetic volume on launch. BT spot, the ETH spot may also turn out to be underwhelming. User moving to layer 2s, which is lowering main gas fees, which then lowers staking rewards, less MEV. DVT tech seems promising. You can validate with just one ETH collateral. Stader will let you stake with 4.4 ETH with only ETH exposure, no SD tokens. There's some narratives on enshrining LSTs in Ethereum. Node operators are giving up on not buying anymore to top up above 10%. RPL has sell pressure from the IMC, from GMC, from the team, from the ODAO, etc. But Patera says that he's bullish on the tech, and maybe Eigenlayer and Megapools will save us, and maybe Balaji, you know, about the collapse of banks and the banking system will turn out to be right. So I said, why you gotta hit us like this? And he says, my takes are often wrong. So I really hope that Pateris' take here is wrong. But yeah, there's a lot of bulls, but maybe some of that might be COAP, but who knows? But yeah, okay. Talking about people like being bullish or bearish, this person definitely did really well with their validator this weekend or yesterday. It was a large mini pool proposal came in with a block worth 20 ETH to a person who only has a single mini pool and is not in the smoothing pool. So that was a really nice lottery win for this person. Joe says the person only has one mini pool. Don't tell Dibsy. And then Ramana says, join the smoothing pool. What are you doing? The smoothing pool's having quite a rough month where we're only getting about 9 ETH a day in there, which just shows the market's flat. Joe says what they're doing is winning the lottery. And I said, what's his share? And yeah, from that 20 ETH, 8 ETH is going to go to rETH holders, and 11.75 is going to go to that node operator, which is a free LEB, which is absolutely lovely. And it made me so happy to see that this person did so well. And yeah, win the lottery, and you get another free ticket for more lottery wins coming up. But that is something to celebrate for that person, which was really nice. And I'm sure it made their day. Okay, next we're going to be talking about some non-Rocket Pool directly related stuff. Here we have a long Twitter thread from Anders Elowson. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's all about Ethereum security through staking rewards and incentives and economics. And it's a 100 tweet thread, so go and give this a read if you're interested in all of those things coming together. But yeah, I thought it was a 100 tweet thread. Yeah, it keeps going on. Like, it's just after 25 you have to kind of like click on it to read more. But there's a whole lot of information here to unpack, so go and give that a read if you want. Like, there's a lot of good information there too, and I think you might find it valuable, but it's too much to kind of even summarize, so sorry about that. Okay, you might remember that Prisma Risk did a report on rETH a while ago, talking about the rETH token and like its benefits and hindrances and like all of that kind of stuff. Well, they've come out with a new report on the Swell Network's swETH token, and talking about all the differences about that and how it works and how like all the factors around it. And the reason why I'm mentioning this here is because Swell is a token that's actually currently trading under peg, around 2.5% under peg. So you know, once they enable withdrawals, that will enable like a burn loop to happen, and people will potentially make some profit on their swETH. But there's some red flags around that whole process as well, so please do your own research before you try to ARB that. But the reason why I'm mentioning it here is because they've got some nice charts comparing it with rETH that you can have a look at. And you know, they were just talking about the different kinds of tokens and like their volumes. So for example, you know, here there's with stETH, they're doing around 22.5 million of volume every day. With rETH, we're doing about 2.5 million of volume every day. Frax ETH is doing about 2.5, but swETH is doing 700,000, which is a lot less. They're talking about sort of a lot less as well. The market cap is less, but here they're more comparing it with other protocols, including rETH. So for example, like Lido is giving 3.6% on rewards, Rocket Pool is giving 3.07, Coinbase 3.44, and then this Swell's swETH is 3.86. There's some information here about slashing and how that's happened and how that's cost penalties, and there's a lot of other comparisons as well. So this is a really incredibly detailed report talking all about swETH. So if you are interested in reading that, definitely check it out, and there's a lot of good information in there. Okay, so this whole Lido thing's been going on a lot for the last few weeks, And here we had Eric Connor as a guest. I guess he does drive through in partnership with Anthony Sassano on the Daily Gwaze drive through, where they just kind of talk about different issues for an hour. This time they talk pretty much exclusively about Lido, about liquid staking tokens, about whether you should enshrine or not enshrine them, and then also what is the bigger understanding with Lido. So that was a really good discussion. A lot of people really liked this episode. He has the same issue with timestamps with me. He says the refuel has timestamps just like my rocket fuel episodes do, but he says he doesn't have time to do them for the drive through. I struggle to do them for the launchpad episodes as well. But yeah, people really had a lot of positive feedback for this episode, which was good. Then there's this episode with Bankless where Danny Ryan was on. I've only watched 34 minutes of this so far because it only came out this morning, but there's a lot of discussion about the dangers of Lido, so you can definitely check out this as well. But it seems like a lot of people are paying attention to the Lido issue now, and then the first name that people mention after Lido is then Rocket Pool as a comparison. So I'm really hoping that you can get some good positive attention from this, and hopefully that can be a bit of a spur to good things happening going forwards. Okay, talking about market share and LSTs, here Hildobby went back into the staking set and found that Coinbase actually had more stake than previously thought. So the idea was that Coinbase had 8% of the staking share, but it turns out that some of the unidentified staking set was actually belonging to Coinbase as well. So their real amount is around 14.1% of all staked ETH is with Coinbase now. So of course Coinbase also has an LST, which is a CB ETH. So their market share will be bigger than we expected as well. So it'll take a little bit longer for Rocket Pool to catch up to Coinbase in that case, because for a while there it was looking like with some good movement we'd be able to catch up to them, but now they're going to be a little bit further away. But that's okay, we'll catch up to them sooner or later. Okay, next we had this Loadstar incentive program that they had, which was for getting people to use Loadstar in their validators. It turns out 87 people were winners of the Loadstar incentive program, and they won around $280 or $290 each, which is really nice to see. Basically there was a $25,000 prize, and that was divided out amongst the 87 people. So congrats if you won the Loadstar lottery of sorts. And finally, just a quick update on the Validator Q website. So the Ethereum Validator Q now is down to less than 2,140 validators, which is less than 1 day's worth, which means that the wait time now is only 18 hours to get through the Validator Q. So unless there's more than around 200 new validators added in the next 18 hours, then the queue will officially be empty tomorrow. So maybe on tomorrow's episode we'll be talking about there being an empty validator queue on the Beacon chain, and it looks like we've kind of plateaued at around 850,000 active validators at the moment. The numbers are still being added, but there just won't be a queue anymore. So we're kind of leveling off. As you can see on the chart here, the active validators has kind of it's still increasing at the rate of 2,500 or 2,700 a day, but very soon it's just going to kind of level off at that point around that 850,000 mark. And then the rate of increase won't be the max churn limit anymore. It'll be less than that most likely, except some days there might be some institutions or organizations coming online with thousands of validators, or if any of the Rocket Pool whales decide to change, then that might be a day with 2,000 new validators coming online, etc. But I'm changed from Minipool 16 to LB8s, but otherwise this is kind of where we stand now. So the barriers to joining staking are getting less and less every day. Gas is dirt cheap. The queues are gone, so the cost of changing from Minipool 16 to LEB8s is virtually zero. I think people might just be holding out for a premium, but yeah, that's another discussion. Anyway, I'm going to end today's episode on this note. It was quite a packed episode, so thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.